Hello, everybody. Welcome once again to AEW Spark. What the hell is about to happen in All Elite Wrestling? But I digress. Good Women's
We're about
Showcase,
to kick
too.
the fucking forbidden door down. That's what's about to happen.
Well, thank you, Tony Khan, who apparently is the Forbidden Dork himself. Anyway, folks, you know what it is. Welcome to AEW Spark. This is being recorded on February 20th, 2021. And shout out to Josh Barnett's Bloodsport. If you haven't watched it, I suggest you do. I believe it's still going live right now. I cannot wait to watch Jon Moxley versus Davey Boy Smith Jr. after I'm done with this. But I digress, along with so much more. Anyway, my name's Noah Foster. I'm just a simple man, and I am your host. And with me tonight are two guests that are all elite. First off, he's different. He's creative. He recently graduated. It is my good friend, Jay Hebert. James, how are you?
I'm doing good, and it's not Hubert, but thanks.
Hey, it says Hebert. That's all I see, Hebert. So, hey, yes. I read it phonetically. So, again, potato, tomato, tomato. I know the person. That's all that matters. And, of course, I work for FTW Productions, and I'm happy to be part of that.
I'm the runner of that thing, kind of, even though we're on hiatus.
Well, it's a community project that you, of course, are a huge admin, CEO, COO of. So, again, kudos to you. And please welcome for the first time ever, it is not MC Hammer. He's just simply known as Hammers. Nice to meet you, sir. How are you?
Good, gentlemen. How are we doing tonight?
I'm doing very well, and I look forward to what you bring to this.
I feel very fat. I feel very fat, Hammers.
I mean, look, I say age is just a number. Weight is the same thing, too, whether you know it or not or accept it.
That's we're pretty big fucking numbers then.
Hey, it's not for me. I don't even know what my weight is.
Hey, tell that to Paul White.
Good point. Good point. All right. With that being said, let's go ahead and get right into the discussion with the Spark Light. Because as always on AEW Spark, I like to shed some light on dark and other aspects that happened before the big product, which is Dynamite. And now, because the Forbidden Door is open, you got to include what's been going on across Impact and NJPW. And the influence slowly started really with what's happening with women's wrestling. As we had a Joshi Pro Women's Wrestling Showcase, I like to call it, as this past Monday night, on YouTube on AEW's channel, done by Excalibur, and then the following day done by Hikaru Shida, and might I add, NJPW corresponder as well. I'll get the name in a moment. But we had 4 great matches here that got a good amount of time. Some of them went like 10 minutes, and then I think like 2 of them went like 12 to 15 minutes. We had some first-time names, and of course, names we haven't seen since Double or Nothing 2019. And honestly, none of those ladies have lost a step, and I truly want more of a couple I first-time saw. Before I talk about the rundown of the matches, results, and light aspects, let's go ahead and open up these two gentlemen's minds. Because believe it or not, folks, we are fans, advocates, and supporters of women's pro wrestling and want it to only succeed and grow and continue to be an established investment and overall showcase equally among pro wrestling. Because sometimes the women can outdo the men under the right circumstances and the right booking. Tony Khan, you're trying, but we're going to have some light thoughts regarding what you're about to do with this tournament, but I digress. Hammers, what were your thoughts on Monday night's AEW Women's Tournament Showcase from Japan? Who impressed you the most, your presentation-wise? What is your thoughts overall from it?
So the most I'm going to highlight and just say I watched mostly highlights of certain matches, but the one match that I wanted to watch the most was I forget her name off the top of my head.
Maki Ito, probably.
Yes,
right?
yes.
I figured that was the one he was going to say.
Yeah, it's same here, by the way.
That was the one match. That was the one match that I wanted to see the most out of, because as a man who's kind of only really experienced with Joshi wrestling is through AEW, I just wanted to see how other kind of wrestlers besides the ones that I've seen on AEW before, like the ones in the tournament right now, I wanted to see the outsiders that were kind of coming in as like the first time being shown on AEW. Maki Ito was the biggest one that people have been talking about as a highlight.
Mainly, let's be real. She pretty much put her name out there by saying, "I am the queen of shit" on Twitter.
She is
so everybody was like, "You know what? I like you." Fuck it.
She's truly uncensored, but okay,
Yeah.
I understand. She's definitely opened the world as far as social media goes. But yes, the fired idol, she truly showed a lot of strong style and a bunch of craziness as well. And apparently, she must have been trained or seeing Tamaki Homa tapes because she did a Kokeshi. I guess that made her happy. But yeah, I thought Maki Ito and Ryo Mizunami, that probably was my second most favorite match of the night. So a solo pick and solo mention. Now, James, I know you're also a fan of Maki Ito, but give me something else that impressed you from Monday night, or somebody else.
I would say Emi Sakura actually very much impressed me. The gimmick is a welcome change from the Freddie Mercury impersonating gimmick when we already have one of those. Like, why do we need another? Especially when one does it better. Christopher Daniels. So, yeah, no, this was a much welcome change. I'm really looking forward to what Emi Sakura does now, and I'm really glad she advanced. I'm also really glad Ryo Mizunami advanced. I thought that was a coup. They should have signed her with the rest of the women they had from that original six-woman tag, I think, back from the original Double or Nothing. So I really, really, really enjoyed that match with Maki Ito as well. But yeah, Ryo impressed the hell out of me. I was actually more impressed with Ryo by the end of the match than I was with Maki Ito, because not that she was bad, but I expected more with how much she hyped herself up. So
I think that's a fair consideration. How many people were behind her, including my good friend Amy on Twitter. And by the way, folks, that name for the other commentator was Haro Murata, who is also a play-by-play commentator for both DDT Pro Wrestling and New Japan Pro Wrestling. But yeah, this showcase went about an hour. Each of the matches got a good, on average, I would say 10 to 12 minutes. In the first match, Yuga Sakazaki took on, I believe it was Maya Segura. Apologies if I screwed up these names, folks. She had a nice demeanor. I think she was a little full of herself at first, as she literally was just looking at the camera, pinning Yuka Sakazaki reverse-wise. But later on in the match, both women, they exchanged forearms. There was an inverted double underhook, though, for a nice near fall. And at the end of it, a 450 splash off the top rope, Yuka advanced. I wasn't surprised by that, but I was thought that Mai did very well in her AEW brand-wise debut. As again, for these women, they have never been involved under anything AEW-wise. And I'm pretty sure this won't be the last we hear of some of those incredible names. The following match, though, definitely give me more of Veni. My goodness. Veni and Emi Sakura.
Yes, yeah.
That was an absolutely amazing match. And shout out, by the way, to Veni wearing a Komodo in tribute to one recent passing on Nakamura. Always remembered. Mad respect on that. Both these ladies went to town on each other, but in the end, after attempted submission hold and a ridiculous roundhouse lariat by Veni, she showcased attitude. She showcased great technical wrestling, but she fell to a tiger driver in Emi Sakura advance. Subtle respect shown afterwards, but then Veni still showing that attitude. Don't mess with that chick. Good grief. She walks away. I have a feeling this is not the last we're going to hear of Veni after that match, let alone that post-match statement. And then, as you both alluded to, we had, of course, Maki Ito sing her way, as she does, as I've seen, of course, in Pro Wrestling Queendom, to the ring. Good performance. Hey, her and Taiji, that'd be an interesting duo. She took on one of my favorites overall on the Japanese side, Ryo Mizunami, who, of course, came in here with so much more experience. She was definitely one of those that impressed me the most back in the six-woman tag, like you alluded to, at Double or Nothing 2019. Spear and a head and arm triangle caused the young idol to tap out, but Mikey Ito, I mean, literally, these two were meeting each other's minds, and apparently, Mikey has a tougher headbutt. And here I thought nobody ever wins in a headbutt. I was proven wrong. Very good back and forth tight exchange. Hat Boston Crab for near submission, but Ryo Mizunami, she gives me a lot of Okada vibes from her gear and her style personally, as she also went for a short arm lariat at one point in the match. Ryo advanced, and basically now we look towards, okay, so is Ryo Mizunami going to face a legend or someone that's just starting in Joshi Pro that's a current tag team champion in Wave? As Rin Kadora, she tested her will, her strength, and overall her dexterity against the legend, Aja Khan. 37 years, folks. Good grief almighty. Good DDT after Aja Khan goes for a second rope, I would imagine splash, but ran a counter at that, then a fall DDT out of the corner. Beautiful flip senton on the corner, but again, Aja Khan too freaking powerful, literally dropping poor Rin Calidora at one point with a backdrop that I think would impress Taiji. And then I call it an elbow drop off the top of the Empire State Building as she literally dropped the elbow and advanced.
Yeah,
I will say this. I
think it's called the King Kong elbow, right?
You want to call it that? Well, Excalibur gave us the exact names, but again, I am not Excalibur.
I swear that's what it was originally called, no?
It probably was. I mean, there's so many different ways you can look at an elbow drop as far as the name goes, but I look more so at the execution. The fact that she didn't go in forward, she went in backwards and still pinpointed the elbow right on Kindadora's chest. She was not kicking out of that. You probably could have counted to 20. As, of course, Hikaru Shida and Aja Khan subtly exchanged a look prior to this match. And honestly, that's probably one of those matches that people was really thinking could happen and probably want to happen. A great showcase by all 8 women here. I thought this was really good by AEW to do this. It really shows people that might not be familiar with this style, a whole different strong style in Japanese pro wrestling outside of Stardom, if y'all don't watch Stardom. And honestly, if we can get any of the 4 back that didn't advance as another match or showcase for AEW, I definitely want to see more of Vinny and Maki Ito. But kudos to everybody that advanced, and kudos to everybody that so far is still in this freaking thing. Yeah. And that's really all I got to say about that, as of course we'll have more women's wrestling coming up on YouTube, and we'll talk more about that later. So let's go ahead and move on to AEW Dark. Now, James, you and I subtly discussed before this week on Dark, someone impressed you highly, and of course he's involved in NJPW Strong, and I believe Ring of Honor. So give me your thoughts on who impressed you the most on Dark.
I don't want to butcher the name. I don't think I will, but it's Mysterioso.
You got it.
Him, Mysterioso, and Brandon Cutler, definitely the best match out of Dark, which was a really short episode this week. Highly encourage everybody to go watch this match. Mysterioso is phenomenally fast. I'd love to see them just one night at a random exhibition to, even if it's just to build up Rey Fenix, have Rey Fenix and Mysterioso go at it. That would be a wonderful TV match for Dynamite. That would be tremendous. Mysterioso's that damn good. Brandon Cutler also shined here. Brandon Cutler always fucking shines. This guy, I can't wait to see. I really hope they give him more time against Jack Swagger. This guy has probably the best gimmick on Dark. I think he's got the best entrance on Dark. I think this guy actually has a way better ring IQ than his first match against MJF. And his little bit of ring rust, which kind of brought him way down on the totem poles. I really, really want to see him start accumulating wins on Dynamite, or at least maybe not winning, but getting more of an upper hand than he normally would on a Dynamite show. Definitely would love to see more of Brandon Cutler and Mysterioso. Definitely go check that match out for sure.
It was one of the longer matches, as you said. This Dark that gave us a showcase of matches, as always. It was one of the shorter Darks we've seen in recent weeks. I think it went just a little over an hour. And apparently, AEW beat what I believe was previously the shortest match in AEW history, Red Velvet and Hikaru Shida. Apparently, they beat that record as literally Ricky Starks, Ricky Starks. He comes in, spears his opponent, and the match is literally over in under a minute. Literally,
not even a minute. Try it fucking under 4 seconds.
Yeah, I'm about to say under 10 seconds. It was literally 4 seconds. I counted because I literally watched it back. I'm like, wait, that's a match, right?
Somebody's studying his Jorge Masvidal.
Yeah, arrive, spear, leave. Okay. Of course, we're continuing to build towards Butcher and the Blade taking on Bear Country, as Butcher and the Blade made short work of their opponents, literally under 2 minutes, and Bear Country had a bit of a longer bout against Chaos Project. Eventually, those two teams are going to collide. I think that could be a big-time match on Dynamite. And John Moxley kicked us off to subtly show the IWGP United States Championship as he defeated John Cruz in about under...
Wait, no, you got to say it right. You got to say it right now. The Battle of the Giants!
Moxley!
And Cruz.
And John Cruz. All right, fair enough. Apologies that I didn't say it properly. I'll be sure to talk about that better when I recap Dynamite. Vera Vixen, I like her style. I hope they keep doing more of her. But talk about a short match against Ty Conji. Again, Ty and Jay, they rule.
Yeah,
dark.
I don't know. I don't like that. I know everybody is like, oh, well, blah blah blah. We make Dark shorter, like they complained about it for so long. It wasn't that bad, guys. Like, I actually like the format they were doing because, like, if you didn't care about a match, right, you don't have to watch it live. Watch it taped, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then just, if you don't care about a certain match, just skip to who won. There you go. Move on to the next match. If there's another person you're interested in seeing, for instance, like a Baron Black, because he always fucking delivers on Dynamite, or Dynamite, listen to Dark, then, do it. Just skip to that part. I really, really enjoy the old Dark format. I hope this is like a one-time thing and they don't go to this format. I don't like it. It feels like it's a waste. It was a waste of time this week mostly, except for the Mysterioso match.
You got to consider who's there. You got to consider time. You got to consider restrictions. We're still living in the pandemic era of wrestling. And again, it still gave us a great showcase. And some people got to, change up their way that they showed us what they can do. Got a little bit of time. Ty Conji, of course, submission win as she prepares for her inevitable match in the women's tournament. And Eddie Kingston, who's always been one of my favorites, he defeated Aaron Solo with that ridiculous backhand knee to the gut and a spinning back fist. That's what I meant to say. Spinning back fist. I forget what they call that. Kitchen sink or something like that. He beat Aaron Solo in about 5 minutes.
What's it called? Back fist to the future. That's what it was called.
Okay, thank you. I knew it had some sort of name to it. Overall, I enjoy Dark as always. I watch it when I can. I've also noticed now, instead of giving us the matches individually, they're literally giving us just the entire Dark episode. So again, you pick and choose, you watch it. But I've also noticed lately in the comment section, there's always somebody that literally lists the match in order and sometimes give you timestamps too, as James alluded to. Okay, so maybe there's only one name out of 15 that you care about on Dark. Open your mind, give the others a chance. That's all I got to say about that. Again, it's a great showcase of independent wrestling. And that's really what it comes down to at the end of the day. Opportunity and appreciation.
Go ahead,
Hammers, I know I just jabbered on forever. I apologize.
No.
What was your Dark highlight, or who impressed you the most?
It's always been between three that I like. Moxley, Kingston, and Ricky Starks. Ricky Starks has always been one of my favorites since I've seen him in NWA Power.
Yep.
Always loved him. Eddie Kingston has always been like the guy that I will say, if I ever got into the ring with, I want him to be the guy that hits me the hardest so I can hit him hard back. I just love watching Eddie Kingston wrestle and how he's...
You just love him because of the UWF, you motherfucker. Don't lie.
No. I'm being
real talk.
Super serious.
Real talk.
I'm being super serious here.
I understand that.
Ever since I watched him in Jakara win the 12 large cup, that was just the setting point. Just to say to me, yes, that's the guy I want to see just win every single world title everywhere. Like, that's the guy I want to see.
Truly, I feel like one of those wrestlers that at the end of the day, he's not out there for himself. He's out there for the boys, for the industry.
I really think they should have had him as a babyface. That's the only thing I have to complain about. I think he should be the working man's babyface. I think they have him miscast, honestly, as a heel, especially after his Cody match. I really think they should have gone with a fucking babyface run.
Interesting thought. But again, we'll have to wait and see. As for now, the family, they're doing it their own way, and they have their own problems to deal with. As, of course, this was hyping up the 6-man tag. So with that being said, let's go into, before Dynamite, the other part of Tuesday night's Forbidden Door showcase, as FinJuice made their way. Now, why would I talk about FinJuice and Aewspark? It's simple, because FinJuice is now part of Impact Wrestling. They won their debut against Reno Scum, and it looks like they're already going up against Good Brothers for the Impact World Tag Team Championships, the running boys of one AEW World Champion, Kenny Omega. And with the way the Good Brothers are the Impact Tag Champions, have been across on AEW and on Impact, what's the chances of FinJuice showing up on AEW and attacking the Good Brothers further down the line through this storyline? Hammers, your thoughts on FinJuice and this Good Brothers setup and their Impact debut?
It's perfect. I can't wait to see it. Always been a fan of Finn and the Juice. I want to see them on. I want to see them on Dynamite and I want to see them just is the Good Brothers competing next week?
Good
I'm trying to remember.
Brothers, they might be fighting. I don't know if they're necessarily competing, but I know that they're teasing a match between Finjuice and the Good Brothers.
But I'm saying I'm trying to remember if there's like an 8-man tag this coming Wednesday for them.
That might be.
With the Young Bucks.
I don't think so. I didn't hear anything regarding main event 8-man tag.
Well, anyways, I can't wait to see how those two guys or those four guys compete, and in the tag division on Impact, it'll be fun to watch for sure.
All right, James, anything to add?
I will add this. I thought that their promo was pretty decent as well. I love how they went over the history of how they were young boys to Gallows and Anderson, like way back in the day, and they really brought that to light. I really like that. And yeah, it's just, this is going to be interesting how they tell this story between those two. They even mentioned former IWGP tag team champions. So now I'm going to bring this up. I think I don't know if I brought it up here. I brought it up other places, but I bring these news items up because this is going to be a major thing here to talk about. So the first thing is Impact is not the only one to recognize IWGP Tag Team Champions with Finjuice.
Correct.
Ring of Honor is doing the same thing with the Kingdom, and they've even straight up said IWGP still. So they're still in a working relationship with New Japan as well as Impact and AEW, which leads you to believe it's only a matter of time before Ring of Honor gets involved in this. They even had Mike Bennett go on Twitter and say, hey, whatever you guys want to do, let's run this back. And he was referring to the Kingdom versus Bullet Club feud. Another thing I want to bring up, MLW may be involved as well. And I only say that because of this one fact. Kenny Omega and Laredo Kid fought for the AAA Mega Championship at Triple Mania. Laredo Kid obviously lost. He has another championship that he also holds and defends. And I believe, I don't know who won yet. I haven't watched the episode, but I know he put that title on the line with Leo Rush's championship. I believe it was a middleweight championship that he put on the line with
MLW middleweight championship.
Yep, MLW middleweight championship and the AAA. It may have been the AAA cruiserweight title.
Yeah, it was the cruiserweight title.
Yep, there you go. So they had a winner-take-all scenario. MLW is working with AAA. So is AEW. And AEW is still also working with other Japanese promotions. Keep in mind, they still have a deal going on with Dragon Gate as well. There's a ton of moving parts. And Noah with Impact as well. There's so many moving parts that I don't think people understand. This is basically what we're building here. What all these owners are building is a fucking territory system.
Correct.
Which
literally, we've been talking about it for weeks and weeks and weeks, ever since literally Kenny Omega literally shocked us all, and the Good Brothers show up, and as Tony Khan so alluded to, which is the other part of Impact, I'm constantly enjoying it every week. He is this forbidden door. He hoped that everybody had a great Valentine's Day, and he subtly alluded to the fact that he has a gift for one Kenny Omega, which we'll now go into towards the end of our discussion as we look over this past Dynamite, as we continue on our way to Revolution. And with everything going on in the wrestling industry right now, Revolution literally could be much more than just a pay-per-view name by the end of the show.
Nothing can be off the table anymore. Absolutely nothing can be off the table. It is,
and we're going to talk about
crazy
more about that.
Trust wrestling is right now.
We're going to talk more about that subtly at the end of this, based on what happened at the end of Dynamite, and also, of course, next week and Go Home Week too. Go Home Week's going to be insane. I cannot wait for Go Home Week. All right, anyway, let's go into Dynamite. So this week's Dynamite kicked off as Matt Hardy and Heyman and Page. They took on the duo TH2. Pretty good back and forth match here. Scary spot at one point. I thought he literally face planted. Yeesh. At one point, Hardy spiking Heligo with a twist of fate and pinned him. And this was after Heyman and Page came in for a save with a double buckshot lariat. after some great back and forth action. And of course, Matt Hardy, him and Adam Page, they won. And then, of course, Matt talks about how we're going to make so much money off of you. You look like $1 million. I'm glad you decided to sign with me. We all saw what happened last week, though, as Heyman had his own paperwork. And, of course, this led to, I called it, a match at Revolution. But literally a match that is a big money match. As apparently the first quarter of someone's entire salary is on the line. Winner takes the money. So winner's basically going to get a double payday for the next, I would imagine, 3 months. Overall, this was a fun match, interesting angle, and the Dark Order saves Hangman. Ultimately, I feel like we're setting up a feud between the Dark Order and literally the Hardy Party, which, of course, Matt Hardy has Private Party still underneath his wing. And here I thought they were disbanded after their loss at No Surrender. Good match, interesting opener. We have a match made for Revolution, and does him and Adam Page maybe ultimately join the Dark Order? Post-Revolution or at it?
I think so. I mean, we've seen where this has been going, right? I mean, Hangman has been having these trust issues, and I think Hangman's actually the best story and most realistic story told in pro wrestling, probably in like, I don't even know how long, just because of the character development they do. Like, how often do people go through growing up or going through any new phase of their life with trust issues?
Every day. Every day, I feel like that's a test of humanity.
And not just that, it's more of a test now in the times we're in. Absolutely. Who's the most relatable babyface right now in this current system with everything going on? That's Hangman Page.
Anxious millennial 100%. Cowboy.
He is 100%. It's 100% Hangman Page, and they're building him up for an eventual title match with him and Kenny Omega. I would love to see what him joining the Dark Order looks like, and maybe him even leading the Dark Order. Like, okay, I can trust these people now.
It all comes down at the end of the day to trust. Who can Heyman and Adam Page trust? Can he even trust himself? And again, literally, this is about one man's earnings for quarter one. And now we got TH2. Was this a one-time thing? Will they be further involved in this too? And as Dark Order subtly alluded to on the pre-show, particularly one John Silver, maybe it's time for Dark Order to turn a different light or something. Again, I feel there's more to this than meets the eye. And I feel it's all going to culminate maybe with Heyman joining the Dark Order. But again, Dark Order has faces. Who thought we ever see the day? Hammers, you're fond of this entire angle and match setup.
I can't wait to see it. Matt Hardy versus Hangman on Page is going to be great. If there's one thing I want to see at Revolution happen, is that Hangman on Page wins it, joins the Dark Order, and becomes the leader. That's the one thing. That's the one thing I want to see, because right now the Dark Order really, the only leader that's there is Uno. And Uno's a great person, but he's not the kind of leader that Hangman and Page could be. Yeah. They need to fill in that void of what Brody was, RIP. And it just, he could be that guy that makes that glue.
He'd be the star. He'd be the new star.
He'd be the new star. He would be the one that makes the glue tighter between the group, and just
they would make him the leader. They would make him the leader. Uno would make him the de facto leader. Him and -1 would just be like, "You're the one that leads this group now.
Yeah,
you're the main focus." Whereas the other group he was a part of was the back burner.
Yeah, he was in the shadow. He was always in the shadow of the elite. And honestly, with this Dark Order thing, maybe he doesn't want to necessarily be a leader. Maybe he wants to just lead by example. And the Dark Order, they're all equals. Again, we're basically saying that no matter what comes the end of this, Dark Order's direction will likely be defined, and Heyman and Adam Page might likely have some people to roll with. But again, we're all speculating right now. We're going to have to wait and see how this falls out. It wouldn't surprise me if TH2 takes on the Dark Order somewhere along the way before Revolution, since what happened, or Private Party. But again, we'll have to wait and see. We already know one half of Private Party will be facing the Hangman this coming Dynamite. All right, so moving on from there, we bring focus now to women's wrestling as we have first round of the U.S. side as the Women's World Title Eliminator Tournament went underway.
Hold on. We're going to pause right here. Rio versus NWA champion for Serena Deeb. What a fucking clinic this was.
That's all I was going to say. I was literally going to be like, someone take this away. Go,
didn't
go,
even
James.
realize.
Go, James.
I didn't even realize how good Rio was until this fucking match happened. Like, she's so good in the ring. I was floored with the mat exchanges that happened in this match. They built it up to where whoever the fuck won, I couldn't be mad at. They made it so believable how Rio won this match because every move was a counter for counter. It was such a wonderful women's wrestling match. I highly recommend that if you've fallen out of love with Rio because of her women's championship, go and seek out this match immediately. This was so damn good. I wish they put the NWA title on the line just for added stakes. I wouldn't have even been mad if she won the belt off this. Regardless, I think it should have been transitioned to Thunder anyway, because I think the match should be Hikaru Shida and Thunder Rosa, winner take all. But that's my only complaint I really have, honestly. This match was so fucking good. Best women's match by far Dynamite's put on. And that's going through a lot.
Yeah, no kidding, considering what we've seen. Hammers, your thoughts on this match? I think James kind of took all of it, though.
I'm going to put it up one step higher, and I'm going to say this is the best AEW women's match ever they've put on. This
wow.
not just on Dynamite. I'm talking pay-per-views. Any sort of special event. This match right now has been the best women's match they have produced in AEW's history. Now,
that's not to say all of them were bad either. I mean, some of them were.
You're just holding this to another standard because of the incredible in-ring work we saw. And I wouldn't have expected anything less with Serena Deeb's experience as coach, competitor, and of course being the NWA Women's Champion. And young Riho, people forgot she was the inaugural AEW Women's Champion for a reason. It wasn't like
now we know what the reason was, because holy shit is she good.
Literally 1 year difference of in-ring experience really between these two.
She was going toe for toe with like, it's just insanity how
when they weren't striking, they were trying to literally tear each other's legs apart. I mean, at one point, Deeb landed hard on her shoulder, and then Riho, so many counterintuitive roll-ups. Riho attempted a Northern Light suplex, but Deeb was able to scout that one, and then literally Riho jumps on the top rope with a crossbody, and people may think that's not a big deal because of her size, but there was a lot of momentum behind that. She rolled through, charged at Deeb, but then Deeb finally starts working the leg with a ridiculous dragon screw towards the end. God, that's one of the worst moves in wrestling to suffer. Literally started working on the leg into a stretch muffler after a swinging net breaker, but Riho, of course, kicked out. And literally, we find Riho using the 619 on Deeb, but then a diving foot stomp to Deeb's spine. Ouch. And then a diving crossbody for a nice near fall towards the end. Literally, Jared one point going, shoulders down. But then Deeb power bombed Riho, and still not enough, and then applied, of course, the stretch muffler. As we go towards the end, it was literally counterintuitive as both these ladies pulled everything out against each other, finisher-wise. They just tried to literally hold the other down for 3 seconds. Counter for counter, pinfall maneuver. Riho tries for a running knee. Deeb dodges that, and then literally Northern Light suplex, then a roll-up, reverse back forward. Riho with a bit of a kind of roll kind of way, literally trapping Deeb underneath her legs, trapping the arms, and she out-wrestled Deeb. And this was an absolutely incredible wrestling
This was the loudest, by the way, and this is not to take anything away from the rest of the show, by the way, but this was the loudest the crowd got because they couldn't believe what they saw. This was a fucking wonderful story.
Yeah, JR Sully alluded to the fans chanting. This is awesome. So if you do watch one women's pro wrestling match from literally this week in wrestling, that's the one to watch. Simple as that. It was so damn good. All right, so let's go ahead and move through.
Before we continue, Hammers, I think we cut you off before we let you finish.
Go for it.
No, you guys pretty much said what I was about ready to say.
This is the best match of the week.
And talk a little bit about the wrestling that happened. And literally, I mean, in the very beginning, they started out simple with a lockup, test of strength, and then it was a grappling game. You got everything here. You had test of strength, you had striking, you had mat wrestling. This match had everything. And literally, both these women fought as if they were like the main event.
Oh, yeah.
Bar none. All right, so let's go ahead and move forward a little bit. As again, AEW Spark, not necessarily a review of everything, but more so a highlight of the stuff I think that really stuck out. Going forward, though, we had a couple of vignettes. We wonder how this mainstream match is going to be appealed to the audience and what to expect in Jade Cargill's debut, which apparently her symbol is going to be like a WB thing because, again, she's an X-Men fan. So what sort of storm will she unleash?
That's
and how much
Marvel,
mainstream attention to wrestling will Shaq bring to this as well? As, of course, we continue to hype Shaq and Jade Cargill, who are training in a basketball gym, versus Cody and Red Velvet. Not much more to say about this.
I don't know. I have a lot to say about it.
All right, but we're trying to be on the clock. I'm moving forward.
Yeah,
so you want to go deep into this. Say that for the aftershock. And then following this, we subtly talk about a match that just happened. Orange beats Luther. Whatever.
Yeah, that was weird. I will say, though, in this match, I do want to give credit where credit's due. Luther looks like he's getting a lot better than his first match that he had on Dynamite with Jericho. I don't know.
Yes.
Now, he didn't do much, but the stuff that he did do was actually very impressive. And he's not doing shit he doesn't know how to do, as Dusty Rhodes once said. Don't do shit you don't know how to do. The guy's doing shit he knows how to do here. That Kane powerbomb that he did was awesome. What was it? What was another move he did? I'm forgetting it off the top of my head, but that was really good too. I think it was like a bro kick or something.
Pump kick.
Pump kick. Really good pump kick. It was like
and then, of course, the outside influences came into play too, as Chuck Taylor hit the awful waffle on Serpentico, so he wouldn't get further involved. And then Orange Cassidy hits the orange punch, and literally that was it.
It was a very quick one, but I do want to point out that Luther has been getting a lot slimmer, and he's definitely been getting a lot better in the ring. So I just want to give that. I want to give that little tidbit of information because I know a lot of people like to shit on Luther because of what his match with Jericho and because of the Nightmare Factory stuff. Like, forget all that. Like, this guy's actually he's really trying. He's really getting a lot better as time goes on. And I think that should be commended.
Fair assessment.
And I said the same thing about Evil Uno. I thought he was awful when he first showed up, and he's gotten so much better. So much
he's
slimmer
impressive.
Too.
And he and Stu Grayson are very effective as a tag team. But Evil Uno, I mean, heck, he went in a singles bout against one Dustin Rhodes. Just saying. Again, Dustin Rhodes, you wrestle that guy, that means something, okay?
Yeah, I agree.
Period. That means something.
Anyway, we can move on. I wanted to give my thoughts on,
I appreciate that because, again, you gave something as far as an insight to somebody in AEW. And, again, I wouldn't have thought of that.
I will say this. I do miss the Omega Driver. I do miss the Omega Driver.
Instead of the awful. Why did they call it the awful
waffle? I mean, it just rolls off the tongue because, again, Chuck Taylor's that guy that's emotionally unstable. Just saying. But I digress. All right, so we're going to go ahead and briefly talk about these next two segments because it wasn't really wrestling, but, I mean, hey, someone did take a bump, and now we know how dynamic Kenny Omega can be. Kenny Omega will be in the next Kindergarten Cop movie. I'm calling it now. But before that, we talk about Team Taz, who once again stepped in the ring and insulted one Sting, who says, basically, without that bat, you are nothing. Sting basically tries to use that. Basically,
he throws out the bat,
he tries to disprove that. He tosses the bat aside, takes off his jacket, and, well, now I wonder if this match will be cinematic because, guys, Sting, 60-plus years old, he ate a freaking powerbomb by one Brian Cage.
Hold on one second. I will confirm to you right now, it's still going to be a cinematic match. News has come out that he's okay. That because I know a lot of people were worried about that. He's fine.
Right.
They took every precaution, every measure in the book.
Clearly.
The reason why he took the power bomb was because he had major protection around his back. That's why he kept his T-shirt on.
But he still gave us that WCW wide-eyed stare brought back in AEW. But overall, I mean, literally, where is Darby Allin? I feel like is the ultimate question here.
I mean, obviously he's somewhere. He got dragged off in a freaking body bag because he's the only one crazy enough to do that.
In the bottom of the freaking Gulf of Mexico. Hammers, anything further to add on this segment? Or Kenny Omega's segment? I'll go ahead and wrap them both together.
Kindergarten Cop is the perfect analogy to say for Kenny Omega.
Yep. 100%.
Oh my gosh. How laid back can a freaking champion be besides read a book to freaking kindergartners?
Yeah, I will give props to the kindergartners who actually made reference to the book title looking like a romantic novel.
Oh, that was so good. I love how they did that. That was so good. I love how the little nuance of, like, you can play with Nakazawa, and they're like, ew, no, we hate Nakazawa. And I was like, why would you ever recommend this? Poor Nakazawa is going to look like a freaking weirdo for the rest of his life now.
Well, I mean, literally, Nakazawa, he was Kenny Omega's, like, second. He's his friend. And Don Cass said Uncle Kane's got to go a lot of business, do a lot of charities today, as Kenny Omega is just laid back, as Alex Marvez tries to come out from nowhere with an interview at the worst time again. And yeah, the kids basically beat down Nakazawa. So whether or not Nakazawa recovered from that,
they kicked the shit out of Nakazawa, by the way. The little shit.
The mental torture. The mental torture is more painful than the physical torture.
These weren't like legitimately. They weren't wrestling stuff. These kids were kicking the fuck out of Nakazawa.
They were shooting on this brother. Good brother.
Oh my gosh! Again, sometimes in wrestling,
put this shit on top of Shopomania.
Sometimes in wrestling, you just need to take it easy and have a good laugh as a fan.
I love that. I didn't. Everybody's trying to read too much into it. I didn't like it. It was like, just let it go, have fun.
When people try and read too much into something, it takes away that purpose of why are you a wrestling fan? And truth be told, some people, they've adapted this mindset because, well, they work for the industry.
Kids are rolling their eyes, by the way, in this segment as well. That's another thing I want to add. Think of this, right? Freaking Kenny Omega's talking about how after he fought Jericho and New Japan, another New Japan mention, by the way, this week on Other American Promo. We should just have a counter at this point. He basically said that business boomed, and they said it's because of me. I did that. Kenny Omega, the world champion. Kids are rolling their eyes. It's the best thing ever.
Those kids aren't stupid.
This is the best Kenny Omega has ever been, period. I don't even care. Character-wise, this is the best Kenny Omega has been in his entire fucking career. This is the best version of Kenny Omega you could possibly get. We'll get to why I say that as we get to
I still think Kenny Omega is one of the best in the world. That's why he's one of my top 5 all-time wrestlers, but I digress. Let's move on now back to wrestling. The tag team titles were on the line as we revisit Proud and Powerful versus the Young Bucks. And honestly, I didn't expect the titles to change hands here, but again, you really forget how great Proud and Powerful are, especially if you never saw LAX. They really came close towards the very end, and they were doing this in front of Papa and Mama Buck, who apparently were at ringside, the Bucks' parents. At one point, we literally thought that Proud and Powerful were going to get the win here. Earlier shenanigans aside, the Inner Circle all gets disbanded back to the back after MJF is caught red-handed. Go figure. Oh, by the way, Jericho's pissed off that Sammy basically left the Inner Circle. He's dead to him. We'll slowly talk more about that in the Aftershock if need be. This match, though, I thought was really good as we go towards the very end. Santana Ortiz powerbomb Matt Jackson into the friggin' front row after they were defeated. But, again, they came super close. That Street Sweeper, I truly thought that could have been their moment because that was their finisher. But again, folks, not every wrestling match is defined by the finisher a team wins with. Case in point. And literally, it was a small package. Not some big over-the-top move. A small package for the win. And, of course, this was to subtly hype up, again, the fact that the Young Bucks will be defending those AEW World Tag Team titles of Revolution against Inner Circles, MJF, and Chris Jericho. And I can only imagine the madness that will ensue after the match is over.
There's going to be so much fuckery. There's going to be so much between the Good Brothers and Sammy Guevara and the Inner Circle. And freaking, who the hell knows, man? There's too many factors in this.
Well, the fact you said Good Brothers brings me to this other point, as again, the Bucks are being assaulted by the Inner Circle.
Wait, hold on. Hammers first.
Go for it.
I want to say this match, I think, should have been won by Santana and Ortiz. Truthfully,
what?
I truthfully wanted to say that because I would like to have seen the Good Brothers come out completely like distracted the Young Bucks, because they've been doing this since the beginning of them coming in.
I'm with you on this. Yeah, I agree.
And had them lose and be kind of like what it was like in Japan a little bit, where the Young Bucks were kind of known as the juniors of the team, and the Good Brothers were the world heavyweight or the tag team heavyweight champions of the league. So then you create a imbalance in the two forces there. You let them go at it.
Yeah,
and
here's and just to add to what you're saying, Hammers, I think what he's basically saying is you have a better story to tell if you had Santana and Ortiz win the belts on their own because MJF tried to fuck them, and have those two go at it, and then you would have a much better story of the Good Brothers and Young Bucks going at it for the Impact Tag titles at Revolution.
I see what you're trying to do here. Truly test the inner circle amongst themselves and truly put the Good Brothers and the Young Bucks straight at gunpoint. Which, again, the Good Brothers, they took their sweet time as they watched from the back. Omega basically asked if they were going to, go out there and save the boys. Brandon Cutler was the first to step up, but then Hager holding his momentum altogether. And then literally we find the Bucks stuck in submission holds. Good Brothers, they finally come out slowly and they just walk away. Not before, of course, Jericho shoved the dad of the Bucks at ringside. So again, this is starting to feel really personal, and you also got three teams at the forefront here, two legitimate ones, one impromptu, and I think one's on the verge of implosion.
Yeah.
Just saying after Revolution. But I do like how you did put that, because again, Proud and Powerful, the tag team, original tag team in their circle, they fall short. And who knows what could happen at Revolution now? Will they stand by Jericho and MJF still? What can they do for them? What is Proud and Powerful's future at this point? Will they ever become tag team champions? Heck, they held the Impact tag team champions for one of the longest periods in Impact Wrestling. Constant classic with who I believe truly should be the next tag team champions, the Lucha Brothers. But again, I'll talk more about that further down the line. But I do like that connotative booking that you brought in related to NJPW. All right. Following this, congratulations, Brandy Rhodes and Cody on the
It's a girl!
Parents. What a way to show it, too. And then we go into a match of the Seidel brothers. I did not know he
another great tag match, by the way.
Well, again, tag team wrestling is at its highest representation on AEW. That is what
Which,
they put
by the way, I do
on.
want to point out, I believe Mike Seidel was still a part of Dragon Gate, which is where they got him to come from. So keep that in mind. So yeah, that's they even mentioned the Dragon Gate history of those two. I think they were tag teaming before Seidel went to the WWE.
Well, speaking of Seidel, he tries to jump off the top rope towards the end of this, but Dax, he grabs his leg from the outside. Matt loses his balance, and FTR, they finish Mike off with Big Rig grabbing the victory. There was a ridiculous one spot, by the way, with a near fall kick out into a ridiculous uppercut. My gosh, that one was effective. Again, FTR, they lay their shit in. That's all I got to say about that.
Yeah, for the record, I want to point out that the three best matches happened from back to back to back. Riho versus Serena Deeb, the Young Bucks versus Proud and Powerful, and then we had the Seidel brothers versus FTR. I really like this match. I really like this match. I thought
the Seidel brothers had a pretty good debut. And then following that, I'm going to let Hammers talk about the match and the aftermath, because following that, somebody was about to get a haircut until, let's just say, there was a Jurassic Rampage. Hammers, take it away.
Yeah, Jurassic Park comes out, new mask. Instead of it being gold, it looked like black, I wanted to say. Black.
Yep.
Yes.
Yep.
So, yep.
A new attitude.
Oh, yeah. And they come out and they just start working FTR over. One of my favorite things about this now is that Dax, his now Twitter profile picture is him getting choked out by a Jungle Boy. So, it's fantastic to see these guys now have something that's like.
Let's talk about this now, because I know we would probably say this for the aftershock, but we have to bring this up because this is fucking newsworthy. They now have booked a match following this event with
right. So
the
let's go ahead.
entirety of Jurassic Express taking on the entirety of FTR.
Holy
Yes, you heard me right. Tully fucking Blanchard is making his in-ring return on Dynamite on March fucking 3rd.
James, I gotta ask you, what was the last time you saw Tully Blanchard in the ring?
Last time I saw him in the ring would have been a WCW show, and this is before Nitro. That's how long it's been since we've seen Tully Blanchard in the and that's how long it's been for me since I've seen him in a fucking ring. And that was a show that was already pre-recorded in my case. So,
Hammers, anything to add?
There was one other time that I saw Tully Blanchard. It's an odd one. Heroes of Wrestling.
that's right. Yeah.
He was in
That
Heroes
would have
of
been-
Wrestling.
Was that his final match up to that point?
I don't remember off the top of my head, but that, if
I
I
would
remember correctly, that was the best match on that videotape ever.
No shit.
Go check it
Yeah,
out, folks.
so-
You heard it here first.
Basically, if there's no other matches after that, then that would have been the last match Tully Blanchard had. And I believe he was fighting it would have been I swear, was it?
I'm gonna have to
was it
Google it
Magnum?
because I'll be honest,
No.
I don't know. I honestly don't know.
I'm looking it up right now.
Yeah, look it
Alright.
up right now while we're
Well,
talking.
while you do that, I'm just going to subtly mention this. Jungle Boy was unleashed as he locked in that snare trap on Dax. That snare trap is highly effective, and I'm really curious how this dynamic's going to play out. As you did allude to, James, before our main event match here, they did hype up March 3rd, where we will get that match, as well as, of course, Jade Cargill's in-ring debut with Shaq against Cody and Red Velvet.
Yes.
And again, there's going to be a whole lot more as they also hyped up next week's card, which will include a bunch of matches, including one half of Private Party versus Heyman Adam Page, as well as we're going to see more of the women's tournament.
All right,
you got the
time
name,
out.
Hammers?
So gonna blow your brains out right here. So the Heroes of Wrestling was not the last match he had. In 2005, he had another match with Jeff Jarrett.
Oh, okay.
And then in
TNA, probably.
No. It was Wrestle Reunion, which is like a big thing in the East Coast.
Okay.
But he had another match in 2007 against Dustin.
Dustin Rhodes.
Yep.
So that would have been the last match he had. Was with
Yeah.
Dustin Rhodes.
That would make sense. That would make sense.
That makes sense.
All right. Well, anyway, as we go into our main event, they ran down the card so far for this coming week. Jake Hager will take on Brandon Cutler. Hey, Brandon Cutler gets a match on Dynamite. There you go, James. Good luck. Ricky Starks and Brian Cage will take on the Varsity Blondes. And who the hell's Griff Garrison? Still figuring that out. And Brian Pillman Jr. We will also get Heyman and Page try to get some revenge against one Isaiah Cassidy, who attacked him as literally the mascot. And we also are going to get follow-up to the AEW Women's Title Tournament matches that will happen this Monday night on YouTube. But before then, we had a 6-man tag as Jon Moxley goes at it again with truly who he believes is the one guy that he still calls a friend. Why are we doing this? This felt like a personal affair. How many more times we got to do this? You could tell. Because, again, at the end of this match, it came down to Jon Moxley and Eddie Kingston. And throughout this match, all I got to say is this. Ray Phoenix, what the hell are you? Literally at one point, Lance Archer says, Ray, come here. What does Lance Archer do? Oh, he just chokes, says Ray Phoenix, who turns it into a freaking corkscrew while in the air. How the hell do you do that? And of course, as this had great tag team wrestling throughout, and the Butcher and the Blade, they continue to do what they do, which of course is mayhem, destruction, violence, and physicality. Mox and Kingston were the only ones left in the ring. They traded forearms and literally that spinning back fist. Jon Moxley just freaking absorbs it and then literally applies the Bulldog Sleeper, but of course that was broken up. Another back fist, absorbs that one, and then Paradigm Shift, and Kingston selling that Paradigm Shift. My God.
Yeah, I love how he sells it, man.
Am I the only one who hates that? Like, I understand it's because of the promo, but I way more prefer Death Rider than Paradigm Shift.
I think they had to do that just because of
You gotta remember, the Death Rider
networks.
was not made before Jon Moxley's debut in NJPW. Okay, Death Rider was made in NJPW. Before that, though, Jon Moxley debuted under AEW brand, and he literally called this a paradigm shift.
They're probably going to call it. If they call it a Death Rider, I mean, it will be at Revolution. They're probably saving it for that. I would think.
Oh yeah, because we weren't done at the end of this match. By the way, where Butcher, the Blade, and Eddie literally had madness with Lance Archer, Rey Fenix, and Moxley. Because as Moxley was about to give us his continued, a piece of his mind, who comes out and attacks him from behind? The Good Brothers. They show up and they literally held Jon Moxley back, and we hear Kenny Omega's battle cry music. Kenny Omega coming out in a very, what would you say, relaxed fashion demeanor, but an intensified promo game, only heightened by the fact.
And then he started out relaxed.
Yeah,
he was gonna,
and then he intensified.
Be like every other Kenny Omega promo ever, and then all of a sudden he just sharply screams, "Cut the music! Cut the music! Cut it!" And he's like screaming for them to cut it. He goes in the ring. He basically talks about, "I heard that you have a little rematch clause put in the contract. I'm not surprised. But if you're going to have your rematch, you can have it. But I'm the one that's going to pick the stipulation." You talk about burying people. You talk about breaking their necks. Is that what I'm going to have to do, John? The minute he started doing this, okay, when he was going screaming, right? And he's screaming at John.
Full cleaner unleashed.
Full cleaner. Basically. Not just that. Like, this is better than cleaner. This is the best the cleaner has ever looked. I watched this promo, and I think Hammers can see where I'm coming from with this. This gave me like 2007 Edge vibes, the way he cut this promo.
Oh, yeah, it was that intense.
It was Kenny Omega. This was the promo of his life. And I say this because there's a lot of people that were criticizing Kenny Omega, the obvious ones. Okay, we already know them. I'm not talking about JC. I'm talking about like people that are reasonable. They're like, okay, this guy is your champion, but you're not treating him like a world champion. Not a lot of people will say this, but in that regard, this was a make or break moment for Kenny Omega. He absolutely fucking delivered here. I've never seen a better promo from Kenny Omega, and he's cut a lot of great ones in Japan, but this was high above everything else he's ever fucking done. Whoever is teaching him how to do these promos, props to him. Maybe he's learning it on his own. Either way, this is the promo of Kenny Omega's career right here. When he announced an exploding barbed wire death match. FMW fucking rules here.
Hammers, anything to add?
Was nuts. A great promo, though.
I'm trying to remember off the top of my head here when the last time an actual exploding barbed wire death match happened in America.
I don't think it's ever happened at all in America.
I looked it up. I have found nothing, but Hammers, go ahead.
There might be one like kind of expectation you could say, and that was CZW.
Mm-hmm.
Probably.
I don't know if
they never did that though.
I don't think so. Yeah,
I've looked, guys.
Let me just double check because I want to make sure I'm not saying something real stupid here.
I don't think. I think Hammers. We would have found it. I was trying to look earlier.
You can Google barbed wire death match, and the first thing that comes up are the following names: Terry Funk, Mick Foley. You go further than that, you find Sabu. You find the following things regarding it: C4. You find scarred flesh. You find second-degree burns. You find this is for a sick, sadistic wrestling fans. Yes, James, as you alluded to, this is literally Frontier Martial Arts Wrestling, FMW, brought back, as this is, of course, a Japanese staple. An exploding barbed wire death match can be all the following. Victory is achieved under traditional still, pinfall or submission, as, of course, this will be for the title. But in the case of death matches, you could expect a lot of blood. You could expect crazy weapons, barbed wire wrapped chairs, baseball bats, glass tables, ladders. But honestly, if Kenny Omega is going to prove himself to be the best in the world in everything wrestling, if you're truly going to put down Jon Moxley, how do you elevate what these guys did in the Lights Out match back at freaking Full Gear 2019? Oh, no problem. You just add exploding barbed wire deathmatch to both men's resume and the word winner next to one. Bottom line is this. This is the definitive end of Jon Moxley vs. Kenny Omega. Come the end of this match, one of these two men you're not going to see for a while in AEW, and they'll still be doing something else in wrestling because that is what the wrestling industry has become. And if you all want to prepare for this, I dare you, go watch Masahiro Shono versus Atsushi Onita in the exploding barbed wire death match. And I dare you to come back and say, I watched this and I didn't react at all any way that made me felt disturbed, disgusted, or basically not like Bernstein. Because if you don't react to something called an exploding barbed wire death match, you are not human. You are a damn robot. This is going to be fucking insane. But again, kudos to the 6-man tag and that freaking promo. And then afterwards, Jon Moxley with the headbutt directly, clearly breaking Omega open. Omega wails in, throws the aviators off, and bang! V-trigger 3 times, and we go off the air.
And here's another thing I want to bring up as well. Just to add, for anybody from Team All Elite, Rundown, anybody ever, whoever, I'm going to be hosting a live stream, and I will be coming back relatively soon. And if I'm coming back relatively soon, that means one of my friends or myself's getting the vaccine. That will be my official return to YouTube. So when Revolution happens, then I'm coming back. So be on the lookout for that. Whoever wants to come in this chat is invited. Whoever is watching live right now that is a part of Team All Elite is also invited. Triple Threat Promotions, anybody there, also invited. Whoever wants to come, basically, WYW, FTW, anybody from NoDQ, anybody's invited. Let me know. I'll add you an invitation. We'll put you in the Stream Me link for those who haven't already purchased the pay-per-view. I know I've already purchased it. I'm ready to go. Let's go.
Same. I mean, there's nothing more to say besides that. So basically, that was this week's AEW Dynamite. So let's go ahead into a bit of a aftershock discussion. And I want to start with this. As again, we now know that the Women's World Championship Eliminator Tournament is going to continue across YouTube. It's going to continue next week on Dynamite. But they're also going to do something that has kind of turned people, I would say, in a negative way towards Tony Khan's booking. As he subtly alluded to, the semifinal bout between Riho and Thunder Rosa will not be on Dynamite. It won't even be on YouTube under AEW. It will be literally on the Bleacher Report app as a free Sunday special 1 week before Revolution, where, might I add, literally during that week on March 3rd, we will have the finals of that tournament to determine who challenges Shida for the title. Now, the
Teacher, I have a question.
James,
why are people bitching?
Okay, here, I'm going to assess this. Hold on. I want to give my take on this, and then I want you both to give your take on this.
Okay.
Here's the way I see it. You wanted women's wrestling to be better showcased on AEW. Now, whether or not you met directly or indirectly by your comments, that's a whole nother thing. Tony Khan suddenly alluded to that this will be available worldwide for free for everybody. There will be no commercials. And with Bleacher Report's viewership and outreach, it's a great way to stream a high-stakes match.
Oh, shit.
I think it's a business decision that is just for more exposure of the AEW product. But I'm going to look at both sides here because I'm just assessing everybody.
Go ahead.
People are already doing a trend about give AEW women's wrestling a chance. People believe that there should be more women's wrestling showcased directly on Dynamite, not just in that same little spot and matches like Luther versus Orange Cassidy that literally was like a flash to some people. They felt like, why was this here? Why did we not like try and contribute more to the women's division? The bottom line is this: at least this year, AEW is putting much more focus into
women's,
pro wrestling. I
100%,
feel that's what's most important here. But I understand where everybody's coming from. As my good friend Cindy G, please follow her podcast in the Stratosphere, folks, and Adventures in Wrestling. She gave her
is she the one that brought this up?
No, well, not just her. I'm looking at like all my friends,
Right.
like Sam and Bree, and a ton of other people in the wrestling community. They have mixed feelings about this too, from a personal fan of women's pro wrestling standpoint, and also from that whole idea of wrestling showcasing. I feel like people just believe that they just want to see more matches, more like quality matches, or even quantity like Impact does on Dynamite, versus just like these standalone or streaming services like YouTube, etc. As of course we learned on YouTube, we're also going to have 4 more of the women's matches. Britt Baker takes on Anna Jay. Ty Conti takes on Nyla Rose. And the 2 semifinal matches from the Japan side. So right now there's a lot going on with this women's tournament. And might I add, my bracket's still perfectly intact. But I really hope AEW surprises me with the winner in this. I want to be truly surprised by this.
Kong wins.
Well, that would be one thing. But honestly,
I'm
personally rooting for Ryo Mizunami because I know the history those two have had before AEW.
Now, Ryo Mizunami or Thunder Rosa, those are the only 2 you got.
Okay, look, Thunder Rosa's already happened. I would not discredit or discount people that have not faced Shida for this title, nor faced it before, but I want a first time. I want something different, and a Japanese style attachment revolution just screams, give me. Now, I talked enough about women's wrestling, AEW in this tournament. I will now open the floor to James and Hammers. Hammers, I will start with you. Your thoughts on this BR special for the semifinals match and the showcasing overall of this tournament, and who you think might excel
in the tournament. I really want to see I want to see Thunder Rosa expel or ascend to another level so that she can beat Hikaru Shida, because I think she is a phenomenal talent and should be the one to win it all and take the title away. As for the BR special, it's interesting. It's a way to get people to maybe go over and see BR a little bit more, and maybe get a little bit of BR people who may not be watching AEW all the time.
And that's another thing. Yeah, that's another thing I want to point out, Hammers, because nobody's seen this yet, but I'm going to be posting a PowerPoint presentation that we did on my channel. Okay? Now, this was massive, and the amount of fucking shit I had to do to research for this presentation was insane. So I know for a fact that TNT is owned by Warner Media. You know what else is owned by Warner Media?
BR.
Bleacher Report Live. So
that's correct.
No shit, they wanted to put this on live as opposed to them streaming it on YouTube. In my opinion, I think that's better for the women anyway, because at least they're still on a Warner Media owned property, and they're basically being showcased even better than they would have been. So I'm okay with this, honestly. I'm okay with this 100%. So.
All right, so James, you already talked about as far as who you want to see maybe on the Japanese side. Give me your thoughts to the match you are maybe most anticipating. Again, we got the bottom 2 for the American side and the semifinals for the Japanese side. What match are you most anticipating and looking forward to next week?
To me, I'm very interested in how Tay Conti and Nyla Rose will perform. Can I see that again? Because I just want to see that one more time.
Oh, you want to see that again? Yeah. I'll bring it back up.
Just keep it in front of me so that way I can figure this out. Obviously,
sure.
That's probably the one that intrigues me on the American side, but I also am intrigued to see how the 2 newest women, even though Britt Baker's been there for a while, but like they're new in perspective to everybody else in this tournament. I would love to see how the 2 rookies essentially do. I'd love to see Anna Jay and Dr. Britt Baker. I'd love to see how those 2 perform. So I'm looking forward to both for 2 different reasons. But out of the one I'm really more intrigued by, probably Tay Conti, Nyla Rose. The one I'm really, really interested in is the David and Goliath match between Ryo Mizunami and Asia Khan on the Japan side. That's the one I'm looking forward to the most. I really hope that Ryo Mizunami pulls it out in the end. I think that Ryo deserves it. If you're not going to have Thunder Rosa win it, which I think she should, then Ryo Misanami's the runner-up. No question in my mind. I think she's got to be the one to win this if it's not going to be Thunder Rosa. I do believe that it should be Thunder Rosa, though. Either way, I think the final should be between Thunder Rosa and Ryo Misanami. No question in my mind. That would be
absolutely amazing.
That would be strong style.
Your thoughts. What match are you most looking forward to out of the 4 coming up? And who do you see excelling the most?
I want to see Aja Kong versus Ryo. I mean, that I've been a huge fan of Aja Kong, so that alone would be great. I'd love to see Aja Kong just win the whole entire Japanese side of the bracket and then face off against Thunder Rosa, and in those two just have like a David versus Goliath match.
Yeah, that's fair.
The irresistible force meets the immovable object.
Yes, that would be my match. But on the women's side, it's a toss-up really for me. But I really want to see Aja Kong and Ryo and Aja Kong win the whole entire Japanese side of the bracket.
That's fair.
Okay, I think that's fair. Well, like I told you two gentlemen, I did my bracket, and honestly, Tai Kanji, Nyla Rose, literally, that was Tai Kanji's, I think, Dynamite debut, and she basically destroyed her. We've seen how far this friendship and how far both these ladies, Anna Jay and Tai Kanji, have grown since being part of AEW and knocking together in that women's tag team tournament. Dr. Bitbreaker and Anna Jay, they have never met each other in singles action. So we got a first time ever, and we got to revisit. Honestly, I would love to see an upset here, which is why in my bracket, I actually put Tai Kanji going over Nyla Rose. Upset win out of nowhere. As far as Britt Baker and Anna Jay goes, this is going to be very interesting. Both these ladies have a very strong, self-confident in themselves dynamic. But I figure about one thing. Rebel. I think about the external factor coming into play that will allow Britt Baker to excel. And that could be the story just maybe in this match, not necessarily maybe in this tournament, unless you're doing that for story purposes. But I look at this more so for the wrestling as well. So I look at these two matches. I am looking very forward to both of these. And as you subtly alluded to, of course, I cannot wait for Ryo Misanami versus Aja Khan. And of course, we also have Yuga Sakazaki versus Emi Sakura. Bottom line, we got a great showcase of 4 women's matches coming up this Monday.
All I know is from those 2 matches you talked about for this Monday coming up, I really do hope that whoever wins those semifinals, I want it to be Britt Baker and Tai Conti. I want to see that match.
Mm-hmm. There you go. Another first time ever.
So,
that was kind of my thinking when I did my bracket, because again, my bracket's right now on tag, and literally you're reading off my bracket, bro. So again, we'll have to wait and see how far I'm right or I'm wrong. And of course, the winners of Anna Jay or Britt Baker will face Nyla Rose or Tai Kanji in the AEW semifinals this Wednesday on Dynamite. Along with that, we of course have Hangman Page versus Saya Cassidy, Ricky Starks, Brad Cage versus Austin Blanche, J.K. versus Brandon Cutler, and recently announced on social media, Lance Archer will face Rey Fenix to qualify for the Face of the Revolution ladder match happening at Revolution, where the winner will receive a future TNT title opportunity. When I look at both these men, Rey Fenix is one of those that has never gotten anywhere near an opportunity for the TNT title. Lance Archer, he has had the opportunity to be crowned the inaugural champion.
Hold on. Isn't Cody in this?
Yes.
Cody, Scorpio Sky are already known for this match, along with Penta El Zero M.
Okay.
Those are the 3 men known so far for this match.
Okay. So
four yet to be determined.
Okay.
It's a 7-man ladder match.
All right.
I thought it was a 6-man.
I thought it was 7, but I'll have to double check that. The way I'm looking at this Revolution card, though, it is stacked beyond belief. It is sure to excel like AEW pay-per-views have always have, and I'm really looking forward to these things coming up. But again, I hope going forward, maybe they can apply the Impact strategy, put some more women's wrestling on Dynamite, because I think that's all people want at the end of the day.
Yeah. In fact, let me bring something up on that front. I do believe at some point there's going to be a winner-take-all scenario between 4 different promotions, I think, involved. Who's going to be the undisputed? Yeah, Battle of the Belts. Who's going to be the undisputed women's champion? If I'm doing this right, who is the? I haven't kept up to date. I don't know if they've retired it, but I swear there was a women's world Women of Honor champion. Who's that?
Retired.
It is retired. Okay,
yeah. It was originally
Kelly Klein.
Yep, Kelly Klein.
Oh, she was actually good. Dang.
Yeah, she was. I saw her live in Toronto. She faced.
Then yeah, screw it. Yeah, triple threat. Then and I think it should be. Since they didn't do it in this tournament, I'm actually glad. Thinking of it now, maybe this is why they're saving it. I think it should be a match between Thunder Rosa, who takes the belt off Hikaru Shida, in my opinion, versus Deonna Purrazzo versus Serena Deeb.
That would be a very impressive match. Honestly, I just want to see Deonna Purrazzo versus Serena Deeb for that Knockouts Championship. Hey, Deonna, you're looking for competition. AEW.
Right there.
Just saying. All right, let's go ahead and change channels here. While we focus so much on women's wrestling, we also got to give some respect to men's wrestling because also next week, and it's been hyped, you've been said over and over and over again, next week, Friday, it happens. Jon Moxley defends the IWGP United States Championship once and for all after 385-plus days of holding it against Kenta. With all this idea of a Bullet Club Civil War going on, and Tama Tonga literally going F-bomb 2.0 on his podcast, I'm surprised he didn't get banned from Twitch for that. He probably got a strike. You really wonder, and the fact that NJPW USA is basically, promoting not only this, but the Impact Wrestling matches as well in NJPW World. People, I feel like, are already saying, okay, Kenta has to win this, but I truly feel like this match could go either way. And keep in mind, this match is ahead of AEW Revolution. So I just want to slowly get some quick thoughts from you guys and see what you think about this match. Who leads with the gold? Hammers, I'll start with you.
If Kenta doesn't win, I will be absolutely shocked.
Yep, same.
I will be absolutely shocked. I think New Japan,
because then that means Moxley is retained or is getting the belt back, and that's a bad mistake, I think.
Yeah, I would wait and just have Moxley lose the belt and have him kind of go dark for a little bit and then come back.
Yep.
A little later.
I think he needs to do that anyway. I don't think he would be able to be for either New Japan or AEW in a few weeks because of the baby on the way.
Yeah.
So this would be a perfect way to write him off of New Japan TV, give the belt to Kenta, and after his match with Omega, him written off AEW television and wrestling entirely for a bit until he can come back after the baby is born, basically. Yeah. After the first 3 weeks of it being born.
Right, because again, Jon Moxley, he's been nonstop since literally being unleashed. And again, at this point, you really wonder, what does 2021 hold in store? You've seen the Jon Moxley interview specials on NJPW World as he hypes up this match, talks about his run in New Japan, his clashes with Minoru Suzuki and Tomohiro Ishii. Why is Jon Moxley not part of Suzuki Gun at this point? He might as well be an honorary member. He's literally tagging with Lance Archer. Just saying, that's a whole nother tangent. But I got to agree with you here. And with this whole idea of Bullet Club, and he doesn't really have no beef with Bullet Club. He just, has beef with Kenta, who just been talking, and we're doing briefcases here. But it could lead to something because, again, Jon Moxley, Jay White, they met in a G1 where Jon Moxley lost. Could that be revisited? Could Jon Moxley even be in the G1 this year? Is this pandemic actually going to lighten up by that time? There's a lot of things to think about here, but I kind of agree with you, gentlemen. I feel like right now it's time for Kenta to be the guy, the IWGP United States champion, and see what he does with it on Strong at least. Hammers, anything further to add?
Is there anything further? Okay, here's a little aftershock question for you that's impromptu for you.
Go for it.
What if they completely flip the concept of the G1 tournament on its head and get every single company that is working together involved and have their own block in the tournament?
I mean, literally,
it would be insanity.
Yeah.
But could they do it?
I mean, you're basically saying if the G1 could take half here, half in Japan, with one block dedicated to wrestlers across all promotions here.
No. I'm not even saying that. I'm saying Japan, New Japan, I'm saying the big companies mainly.
Right,
New Japan.
But I'm thinking about whether it would take place because, again, dude, we got to consider we're under a pandemic. But we have seen opening day of G1 take place here in America, so it's definitely not out of the question.
Yeah, that's why I'm saying. That's why I'm saying. Let's wait before we say there's a pandemic going on. Who knows what happens in the summer? Let's hold off on that. If there's no pandemic by the time fall rolls around, which is typically when the G1 climax starts taking into full effect, then that's going to completely change the whole thing going on here. If that happens, the G1 climax could happen the way I just said.
Again,
and
dude,
I for one, would watch
see.
that. Could you imagine a Pentagon Jr. and a Kazuchika Okada match again?
I mean, dude,
Let's go.
I remember that from All In to take my money. Also, John Moxley subtly said originally before the pandemic, he was supposed to have very unique matches in New Japan. He had a full schedule laid on everything, and the opponents he was going to face would probably surprise us. Honestly, when I think about what he was saying here, I was wondering if he was going to face somebody like, I don't know, Satoshi Kojima, maybe Yuji Nagata, a legend, Tanahashi.
Literally every company gets involved.
Again, the sky's the limit. And we know, and I'm going to leave this to Hammers to figure out, we know it's been discussed that Okada could possibly show up again.
Confirmed.
Here.
Not even a possibility. Confirmed.
Pretty much, yeah, confirmed.
No, confirmed. He said it's happening. Don't know when, but it's happening.
Hammers, I'm going to ask you, where do you see Okada first making it rain?
AEW. It has to be AEW.
I mean, come on. That's an easy question.
If it's not going to be AEW, then why do it at all? You're talking about one of the biggest, one of the best wrestlers of all time. I put Okada over Kenny Omega, and Kenny Omega is number 6 in my book. So,
that's not a bad.
That's fair. Considering the reigns and legacy, that's fair.
If Okada does not show up on AEW television, it's going to be a missed opportunity by AEW to have what could possibly be their 7-star match in AEW.
Yeah.
And if not anything, it's going to just leave a bad taste in the wrestling fans' mouth. Well, that wishes that could happen.
Well, before you, I want to point out something.
Go for it.
Before you can even do that, there's a big gap here before the Okada match can even happen. And you wonder if that may take some of that flame away from a possible Okada-Omega rematch. They'll still do it, but they need to do it with Ibushi first, and there needs to be a winner-take-all scenario here.
Oh, God.
No, I highly disagree.
You basically, okay, tangent. So you're basically saying Okada needs to take the gold off Ibushi.
No, this is what I'm saying. I'm saying Ibushi needs to be the one to challenge Omega first, because you forget something here. Omega, correct me if I'm wrong. I don't know if there's been a recent AAA event, but Omega's still the AAA Omega champion.
You are correct.
He's a double champion. So is Ibushi right now.
Yes.
You're not going to get another opportunity. That's the first thing you got to do before anything else. Kenny Omega wants to be the belt collector.
Can it happen? That's the question. Can it actually happen? Because, again, Kota Ibushi, he's just starting, and already we know he's going to be challenged for the white belt, the IWGP Intercontinental Championship, against the guy that pretty much has had a plague with it, Tetsuya Naito, at Castle Attack this coming weekend. Again, wrestling has no rest. We got Monday night with the AEW Women's Tournament continuing, Tuesday night Impact, Wednesday night Dynamite, Thursday a small reprieve, Friday night NJPW Strong, John Moxley and Kenta, and then this upcoming weekend you got Castle Attack. Good Jesus God Almighty!
Jesus Christ!
Well, I digress. All right. Well, with that being said, I got one more thing that I need to bring over here as we talk about the wrestling, Forbidden Door Open, companies working together, talent looking out for each other's talent. I want to get your thoughts on this. Sammy's Impact did not hit the mark, apparently. Apparently, something was going on there, and they did not agree. They're not coming to agreement. And Sammy right now is MIA. Or so it's being said.
I got this.
Go for it.
Let me explain something to you. Sammy was 100% right in this situation. He never should have had to join Decay. The fact that they would have even brought that up as a creative idea is stupid on both Jericho and Callis. Don't at me. It's done. Sammy made the right move. Okay? Sammy's fine. So, he made the right call.
Let me ask you this, though. Let me ask you this. If Sammy was to make an impact, what sort of impact do you see him doing? X Division?
X Division, and he wins the belt from TJP. It's the natural story you can tell here.
First night wins the belt.
Yeah,
That was the belt from
him and TJP.
Yep.
That match would be insanity. By the way, I want to see that match. That's the match you do. Is TJP versus Sammy Guevara.
I more so wonder if Sammy Guevara is going to be involved at all as far as looking on the tag team title match at Revolution with Jericho and MJF.
Well, here's another thing. We're not even considering. Here's the thing. The options are endless for Sammy right now.
Correct.
Think of how many companies are involved in. If everything I said comes true, and it's pretty obvious it is, there's AAA, there's MLW, there's New Japan, there's freaking Dragon Gate. There's so many companies that Sammy could go to on blessing from Tony Khan. So he may not even go to Impact. He may go somewhere else for all we know.
Absolutely. We don't know what the future holds in store. We really don't, and that's the fun right now of the wrestling business.
I love it.
People are wondering the unpredictability now. They don't know how to handle it because they're not used to that. And, of course, at the centerfold of a lot of this is, of course, Tama Tonga. Where will he show up? When will he show up? Is this whole Bullet Club thing going to come full ahead?
The boy.
I'm just waiting for God to show up and break the internet. That's all I'm waiting for.
Dude, I'm waiting for I'm waiting for that Bullet Club Japan versus Bullet Club USA face-off. The minute that happens, I'm gonna lose my shit.
You and the rest of the internet. But again, we'll have to wait and see because Jay White and God are going to be very busy this coming weekend at Castle Attack. So as we close the aftershock and come to the end of this conversation, Hammers, you got a thought?
I want to say this as an idea, just throwing it out there into the world.
Go for it.
I would like to see Firing Squad's revenge. So everybody remembers when Tama and Tongaloa, and the father, all of them attacked.
Freaking Haku.
Yeah, Haku, and all of them attacked Kenny and the Young Bucks and started the Firing Squad. Yeah.
Yep.
All of them. I think it was San Francisco G1 special, if I remember.
You are correct. USA special at the Cow Palace. You are absolutely correct.
Yep. Always love the Cow Palace.
I gotta check out that venue one day.
It's if I'm gonna say anything, I've been to the Cow Palace about too many times to say it's a beautiful venue.
On my bucket list.
Yep, it's a good one. I would like to see that in reverse. Where you have God still holding the tag team titles high above their heads, and then Kenny Omega, the Young Bucks, Good Brothers, all of them show up and just attack God in a New Japan ring like God did in San Francisco a few years ago.
Here's an interesting fact for you as well. What if the people that Kenny Omega's been hanging around with turn on him?
There you go.
Let's talk about the history of the Bullet Club. Who kicked out AJ Styles and Gallows and Anderson? Kenny Omega. Who then left the Bullet Club high and dry, which left Tama Tonga pissed. Kenny Omega and the Young Bucks.
Mm-hmm.
You think they forgot? That OG crew never fucking forgets, and that includes Gallows and Anderson. I think they joined back with New Japan in that regard. Personally, I think we're getting a Elite versus Bullet Club in full, to be honest, which I would not be opposed to. But here's another instance. I think there's one story. I don't know if you decided to leave it on purpose because you don't think it's gonna happen, which is totally understandable because I'm with you on that. But it is worth bringing up because, again, I've said anything and anything could happen at this point, and I don't want to look like an idiot if we don't bring this up now.
I mean, you can't think of everything in one episode.
Right. But Tony Khan, Tony Khan also said, this may have been the same interview he said this in, but Tony Khan said that the forbidden doors open to WWE also.
Yeah.
Now, I think he was just playing the gimmick. And I think that if this were to happen,
keyword if.
If it's still a big, massive if, because keep in mind who's running the other side, okay? But if it's going to happen, you then have to abandon the idea that it's going to be company versus company versus company versus company and versus 15 other companies. Cannot happen at that point.
Wrestling together. That's it. That's all. It's
the feud that
together.
Exactly. The feud that needs to happen, if you're going to do any feud involving a hostile takeover of the wrestling industry, WWE included, if they decided to join in this, as a full-on Bullet Club siege.
Oh God!
And I'm talking any person that was a part of Bullet Club.
Here we go.
Or has members that were in the Bullet Club that are a part of other factions that they currently are a part of. Undisputed Era. So
go, baby.
The entire shebang here, which means you're going to have to find a way to get. Which means you're going to have to find a way to get somebody else in the Hurt business, and you're going to need somebody to get into Retribution, probably Styles, and they all have to be a part of the Bullet Club, because at that point there's no other faction, but that's what you'd have to do. There's no other way for this to go here.
I feel like it's safe to say that regardless,
any other way.
That regardless you're a wrestling fan or not, you know that the Bullet Club is probably the most influential foundation ever in pro wrestling.
Look at every major champion right now going on in pro wrestling currently. Yep. It's either off the Elite or off the Bullet Club. And I'm including Kota Ibushi in that.
Don't forget Finn Balor. He is truly Bullet Club.
Finn Balor, AJ Styles, Kenny Omega.
The list goes on and on.
The list goes on and on and on right now.
Hammers, anything to add as we close?
Nope. It'll be an interesting few months and a few weeks.
Yeah,
that's
2 weeks. Definitely.
It's going to be an interesting 2 years. How about we just round it out to the next 2 years?
Well, again, tomorrow is never guaranteed, but also expect the unexpected. And folks,
if the comic doesn't destroy us,
we still got to get through Revolution and know that Kenny Omega and Jon Moxley will live to breathe like a normal person the next day. Just saying. We cannot rest on the fact that we are simply saying this and that AEW is making this happen. One of these two men is not going to be on AEW for a while following this. I guarantee you.
Yep.
That's all I got to say about that. All right. Well, I say that's been a fun edition and discussion of all things wrestling-wise, too. So let's go ahead and promote our stuff and wrestling and how people connect with us. Gentlemen, I appreciate and thank you both for joining me this week on AEW Spark as next week celebrates the 1-year anniversary of this series. And thank you to you and everybody that's been involved in this, whether a viewer, contributor, or simply a panelist. I appreciate y'all. I hope to expand and grow this more and connect with you more new faces too. James, I will start with you. Where can people connect with you on anything wrestling, anything you want to plug or promote too?
You can first check me out on youtube.com/user/jhebertside95. That's JHEBERTSIDE95. I'm going to slowly ease my way coming back into YouTube as far as editing goes. Live streaming will be a lot more frequent because I think I'm going to upgrade all my productions to OBS and or maybe some via Streamlabs, StreamYard.
I mean, whatever. StreamYard does Twitch, YouTube, Facebook, and it's the most friendly interface. So that's just my opinion, but continue.
Yeah. So either way, we're definitely going to be doing a lot more live streams as time goes on, including, as I said, we will be hosting a live stream party for AEW Revolution. So definitely be on the lookout for that. And again, anybody from any group that I'm a part of is invited and welcome to come. Just ask me to join the Discord group, and I will send it to you because it's a private Discord group, and I am not going to share it here. But that being said, you can also check out Wayne's Youth Wrestling. Even though there isn't currently any content immediately in the future, there will be individual matches from our previous season going up since we don't really have much going on in 2021, like I was hoping, or even 2022 rather, because of the whole pandemic. So here you go. You can check out this little business card right here. Hopefully it.
That's it. Waymouth Youth Wrestling.
There you go. YouTube.com/user/WIW Pride. Go check that out. Go follow us on Facebook and Facebook. There is a Facebook page, but we barely paste on that. Follow us on Instagram at Weymouth Youth Wrestling and follow us on Twitter at Weymouth Youth TC.
All right, well, there you go. Thank you, James. And again, man, don't stretch yourself too thin. Always a pleasure chatting with you. I might drop by that, but I'll probably be hosting my own thing too. You know I'm going to do predictions on that. Talk more about that later. Hammers, for the first time, it was incredibly fun, engaging, conversating with you. I'm sure this won't be the last time we do this too. And if you want to plug and promote, where can people connect with you?
You can find me on Twitter at, which one is it now?
Hammers from Hell. Hammers from Hell.
Yep, Hammers from Hell.
Also, that's a hell of a freaking tag.
Yeah, Hammers from Hell, also known as Hammer Seeds Discord for a day. You can
More
find
than
me,
a day.
yeah, you can find me on YouTube at K&H Show, where we do something. It's I don't know what you would call it. It's just two brothers hanging out having a good time.
Call it something. You literally got a name right there. Market that. That's brilliant.
Also K&H Show. The K is Kuzan. Hi, Kuzan. I love you.
Kuzan's top bill for us all.
Yes.
And you can try to find me on Instagram or Facebook and any other social media. Parlor, if that's still a thing, I don't know. Any of those websites, you could try to find me, but you can't because you got fat asses. Yeah, that's it.
Hi, Scott Steiner.
All right. Fair enough, gentlemen. Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, I hope you enjoyed the conversation. Again, you want to be a part of this.
FOW. What about FOW?
Yeah, FOW as well. Teespring too. Yeah.
Okay. He's got to make sure we got to go down the list right here, not the lexicon. I'm pretty sure his list is shorter than the lexicon, but I digress. It won't have armbar on it. All right. Great stuff, gentlemen. Thank you. Guys, you want to engage with me or engage in a conversation on All Things All Elite Wrestling, just look me up. And you want to know more about me? Know this. I'm just a simple man and a lifelong fan of, what's the word I'm looking for? It starts with a W. I've been a fan of it since 1992. Oh, yeah. Wrestling and not just sports entertainment. But I also acknowledge that, too. But, of course, I look at all things wrestling, including sports entertainment. But anyway, you want to... You knew I had to do that. Anyway, you want to connect with me, follow me on Twitter, at mfoster1916. Follow me on YouTube at this YouTube channel, youtube.com/C/NoFoster10 for all things wrestling. Shout out to my ATW family on Twitter. I'm still working with NoDQ, of course, so of course I'm doing sports entertainment and also AEW stuff and other stuff as well. So stay tuned for more on that. There's a lot of stuff going on this week as well. We'll be definitely talking about this match once it occurs, as I will have a simple take following NJPW Strong this Friday regarding the result of this match and this show. If you haven't checked out NJPW Strong, I highly recommend it. Leo Rush, ELP. Banger of a match. And of course, this coming weekend after this tomorrow, Elimination Chamber, this coming weekend, some point this week, you'll get, of course, the anniversary edition of Aewspark with maybe Team All Elite and who knows who else. But also, there will be predictions and a simple take on all of Gatoh Attack, headlined by matches like Tomohiro Ishii versus Jay White, and Kazuchika Okada versus Evil, and of course, finally closing with Kota Ibushi defending only their Continental Championship against Tetsuya Naito. It's going to be a loaded week of pro wrestling, folks. Buckle up and get ready as always. And I'll also have more intakes and thoughts on the women's AEW tournament too. Maybe with these people, maybe with someone else. You don't know. We'll have to see. As always, I like to close. There are no winners. There are no losers. There are no betters in wrestling. There are just fans with their own identity with their own opinions. So respect one another, support each other. And at the end of the day, folks, just enjoy life and enjoy wrestling. Simple as that. With that being said, thank you so much for tuning in. Please like, share, subscribe, comment, tell a friend. Hit the bell to know next video goes live on this channel. I only do live stuff going forward from now on. Hit the bell to help me, hit the subscribe button to help me keep growing this channel. And shout out to all 184 that's been with me on this fun YouTuber creator's journey. It's not landing up anytime soon, I guarantee you. In fact, tomorrow, I'm going to try something different. I'm going to do like a little simple intake to a pre-show as I ordered these Japanese Kit Kats. I'll be trying them live, and we'll be seeing if I go bleh or if I enjoy them. That's something a little different. Why not? But anyway, that's all I got to say for now. So as always, be safe, be smart, be positive. Tomorrow's never guaranteed. Treasure your families. Enjoy wrestling. Make a friend, or rival if you dare, out of it too. For James and Hammers, I'm Noah. I keep it simple. And until the next video, I hope you all take care. Have a wonderful day. Guard your heart. And thanks again for tuning in, as always, to AEW Spark. Have a good night, folks.
Famous last words before Noah dies of candy bar.
I lived a good life. He's kidding, folks. And so am I. Rick Roll 2021. Bye, folks.